We're very excited to have our next guest here with more than 3 million books sold worldwide. Ryan Holiday is a leader when it comes to teaching self-control.
Well, now he's here down under on a speaking tour, and we are thrilled to say he joins us live in studio. Ryan, good morning.
Hey, Ryan.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. You've got a lot of Australian fans. A lot of your work, of course, focuses on Stoic philosophy. For the uninitiated, explain what that is and how you became so involved in it.
Yeah, when you start to talk about an ancient philosophy from Greece or Rome, people's eyes glaze over. I sort of say Stoicism is this idea we don't control what happens, we control how we respond to what happens, which is what human beings have always struggled with in the ancient world and the modern world. And the Stoics have a lot to teach us about, you know, how to manage a frustrating, confusing, overwhelming world.
So you've got a new book out as well, your third book, I believe, called There It Is Right Thing Right Now. Tell us about the virtues in this one and what the focus is.
Yeah, the four virtues of Stoicism, the idea was that everything was an opportunity to practice courage, self-discipline, justice, or wisdom, or all of the above, right? That's what life presents us always the opportunities to do that. And so I've been writing about, in this most recent one, the virtue of justice, which when people think justice, they think the legal system, as opposed to, like, what standards do I hold myself to? What's my sense of right and wrong? What am I obligated to do in each and every situation? Not what's legally allowed, but what am I okay with? What do I think the right thing to do is?
I think Stoicism has had some misconceptions around it for a long time in terms of being detached from emotions, being strong and not vulnerable.
Yes.
How does vulnerability play into Stoicism?
We have to make a distinction between, like, lowercase stoicism, right? The word stoic in English, which means, like, has no emotions, invulnerable. And I think the philosophy that we're talking about, which is about courage and justice and discipline and wisdom, discipline is part of it, but just stuffing things down and pretending they don't exist, that's not dealing with them. They're going to come bubbling out at some point. So I think about Stoicism more as processing one's emotions, thinking about them, figuring out what they mean, figuring out the response that's best in a situation, as opposed to just being ruled by them. So feeling angry is different than doing something while you are angry. And I think that, to me, that distinction is where the Stoicism comes in.
All right, let's take this a little bit more, like, wider here for people to understand at home, because I think that sometimes we get bogged down in sort of the guys in togas. But, like, there was one thing that you talked about recently was about Stoicism, like the Stoics knew about knowing when was enough for you in your life, not desiring other things. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I think those sort of things really resonate.
Yeah, the Stoics say that, you know, the greatest empire is command of oneself. So people always want more and more and more. And really, wealth, self-control is understanding, like, what's enough for me? What am I good with? What do I actually need? And so it's so fascinating. On the one hand, you have a Stoic like Marcus Aurelius, who's the most powerful man in the world. Then you have this other Stoic named Epictetus, who Marcus Aurelius admires. Epictetus is a slave. And who is actually most in command of themselves? Who's in command of their desires, their emotions, their fears? So it doesn't matter how much you have or how little you have. Stoicism is this sense of, here's what I need, here's who I am, here's what's important to me.
Following the Joneses.
Exactly. And social media, a world of social media where you're constantly bombarded with what everyone else is doing, you lose track of what you're trying to do, what's important to you, what's possible for you.
Know your own needs.
Yes.
So you're taking this to the stage, to your Aussie audiences. Tell us what everyone will take away from these nights.
Well, we tend to think of philosophy as this abstract, theoretical thing, as opposed to something that really helps us with our real-world, modern problems. What's so great about Stoicism is that it's timeless. That's why it's endured for all these centuries. So I want to help people see philosophy as something that can help them with their actual life, just as it helped the most powerful people in the world and some of the most powerless people in the world. Stoicism has always been this thing that's helped us not just survive the ups and downs in life, but thrive whatever circumstances we happen to find ourselves.
I think what you're teaching is really useful, and I really appreciate you being here today. Great
Thanks
to have
for
you
the time.
Here. Tickets to see Ryan Holiday in The Stoic Life are on sale now through the website and the screen. Follow him on social media and get some life skills. It's really great.